Morning sun sprayed soft gold over Lagos Lagoon, bouncing off Naomi Benjamin's penthouse windows and scattering shards of light across her marble floor. A private violinist practiced in the living room because silence, her mother once declared, made rich houses feel empty. Naomi sat motionless while two stylists pinned her hair for a lifestyle magazine shoot. Voiceover, Naomi, calm but firm, said I had it all, except the freedom to say no. Camera flashes popped. She smiled on cue, fingers resting on a ruby clutch that cost more than some families earned in a decade. Afterward, she drifted through a day most people would envy. Brunch at a rooftop cafe, spa aromatherapy with rose petal baths, then a charity visit where executives applauded her donation before asking her to pose beside an oversized check. Yet every perfectly arranged frame left a hollow echo. She noticed it during the photo shoot. The way the editor praised her poise more than her opinions. At brunch, how a socialite gushed about her designer sandals, but glazed over when Naomi mentioned a literacy program she funded. Even at the spa, her own reflection felt like a stranger in borrowed glitter. That evening, while chauffeured past Victoria Island's sparkling skyline, Naomi opened her phone. Social feeds overflowed with her smiling face. One comment caught her eye. Princess of Lagos, living the dream. She sighed, remembering childhood afternoons when she designed dresses from scrap fabric and swore she would choose her path. Somehow the thread had been snipped. Someone else now sewed each step. Breakfast with fate. The next morning, Naomi walked into the family breakfast room, an airy space with panoramic water views and a 10-seat mahogany table carved in Italy. Mr. and Mrs. Benjamin sat at the head, crisp newspapers beside their papaya juice. The mood felt rehearsed. Even the ceiling fan seemed to spin with diplomatic caution. Mrs. Benjamin patted the seat opposite. Darling, sit. We have wonderful news. Naomi's heart pricked. If it's about another gala, can it wait? I promised Tara a workout. Mr. Benjamin folded his paper, voice warm but weighty. It's far larger than a gala. Jackson Holdings approached us. Their son, Austin, seeks a wife. They admire your values. Values? Naomi blinked. You mean their next acquisition? Her mother forced a gentle smile. It's a merger, not a marriage, business and bloodline. Two dynasties as one. Naomi pushed back her chair. Mum, Dad, you know nothing about that man. His manners, his heart. Heart. Mr. Benjamin chuckled as if she'd asked for unicorns. Love grows. Legacy, however, must be arranged. A servant set down omelets Naomi suddenly couldn't stomach. She tried again. I don't want to live in a newspaper headline. I want a partner who listens. Her mother's eyes softened but didn't budge. Sweetheart, Austin has ambition. Ambition builds empires. You'll thank us when you have children powerful enough to change this continent. Naomi clasped her pendant like a lifeline. Children should be born from love, not spreadsheets. Her father's tone cooled. Our decision is final. We meet the Jacksons this weekend. Naomi stared at her untouched plate, a caged bird with wings too manicured to fly. Lunch of thorns. 3 days later, a chauffeured Bentley delivered Naomi to Azure, the most exclusive restaurant in eco-Atlantic City. White-gloved waiters opened glass doors as ocean breeze mingled with piano notes. At a corner table, Austin Jackson rose to greet her. He wore confidence like polished armor, tailor navy suit, cufflinks shaped like miniature crowns, phone in one hand, ego in the other. Naomi Benjamin. He examined her as if assessing stock value. Even more stunning in person. Thank you. She's Saturday. I've heard you're busy steering your family empire. Austin smirked. Someone has to drag Africa into the future. Without asking, he signaled the waiter. For the lady, grilled sea bass, no pepper. Ladies shouldn't sweat. Naomi opened her mouth, but shut it. She planned to order jollof risotto, extra spicy. Austin launched into monologue. Boardroom victories, golf with ministers, rumors of an IPO. Whenever Naomi tried to speak, he sliced across her words. Naomi, I'm passionate about literacy. Austin, waving a dismissive hand, we'll start a foundation under our name. Tax benefits, photo ops. Easy. When the waiter brought water, Austin frowned. I said sparkling, not still. Do you want me dehydrated? The young man apologized. Austin's glare could have cracked marble. Naomi felt heat in her cheeks. Embarrassment, then anger. She tried another subject. What do you enjoy outside work? Austin shrugged. Work is life. My father says distraction is death. He leaned closer. But a strong woman to manage the estate, produce heirs. Now that is wise. Naomi's voice cooled. Heirs are children, not trophies. Austin missed the warning. We'll host a 1,200-guest wedding at Royal Orchid Banquet Hall. Cameras will stream global. After that, you'll reduce public outings. Pregnancy rumors hurt stocks. Naomi pushed back her chair. Excuse me. He grabbed her wrist lightly but firmly. Sit. People are watching. She steadied her breath, freeing her hand with controlled grace. Let them watch integrity. Inside the ladies' room, she stared at the mirror. Her perfect lipstick mocked her silence. Tara's messages pinged in her phone. How's Prince Charming? Naomi typed. He orders for me like I'm a side dish. Tara replied instantly. Girl, flip the table and walk. Naomi smiled sadly, splashed water on her pulse points, and returned, determined to finish gracefully, yet knowing a storm brewed inside. House of Mirrors. That night, Naomi paced her opulent bedroom. Crystal chandeliers glittered above, but felt like interrogation lights. She summoned courage and knocked on her parents' study door. Her father looked up from financial charts. Her mother was already drafting guest lists glittering with senators and royals. Naomi cleared her throat. I met Austin. Mrs. Benjamin beamed. Isn't he impressive? In the way a hurricane is impressive, Naomi answered. Mom, he belittled the waiter for the wrong water. He spoke of heirs, not partners. Mr. Benjamin removed his glasses. A man who demands excellence often appears harsh. You misunderstand. Naomi's voice trembled. He didn't ask me anything. He chose my meal. He grabbed my wrist. Her mother's pen paused, but her smile stayed. He has a temper, but that's passion. And passion builds empires. Naomi stepped forward. Empires built on fear crumble. I want respect, not jewels. Her father rose. We respect you enough to secure your future. Do not sabotage decades of alliance because of one lunch. Naomi's eyes glistened. This isn't one lunch. It's a glimpse of 50 years. Mr. Benjamin's tone hardened. Many women would kill for this match. Naomi whispered, then invite them to the altar. Silence stretched. Finally, her mother sighed. Go rest, darling. You're overwhelmed. Naomi left, heart pounding. In the corridor, she passed a portrait of her grandmother, eyes fierce beneath traditional gelly. Legend said Grandma once rejected a suitor who traded wives like cattle, choosing instead a humble teacher who loved poetry. Naomi touched the frame, drawing strength from ancestral defiance. She entered her room, locked the door, and dialed Tara. Tara answered on the first ring. Tell me you threw wine in his face. Naomi laughed weakly. Not yet. I need a plan. First rule, Tara said. Remember you're a queen, not a concession. Naomi looked out at the city lights. Somewhere beyond the lagoon, Austin probably congratulated himself on another victory. But inside her, a quiet rebellion sparked, small, bright, and unafraid. She opened her laptop, typed prenup templates, then deleted the search. No, this was bigger than clauses. She clicked a blank document, titled it My Life Terms, and began to write what she truly wanted. Kindness, shared dreams, laughter that survived hardship. Midnight chimed from the hallway clock. Naomi reread her list and realized none of Austin's qualities matched a single line. She shut the laptop, pressing it to her chest like a shield. Above the city, a lone thundercloud rumbled. Naomi whispered to herself, Diamonds may be forever, but so is regret. I choose freedom. Outside, lightning flashed, brief, jagged, illuminating Legos for a heartbeat. Inside, Naomi Benjamin finally felt her own storm rise, ready to test every gilded wall that dared to keep her silent. Wind buffeted flight AZ-022 as it descended over Lagos Lagoon. Inside, Nathan Benjamin, tall, broad-shouldered, calm in a navy sweatshirt. Read Naomi's late-night text again. Nate, I need help. They won't listen. Please come home, quick. He slid the phone into his jeans pocket, jaw tense. 3 years in New York had taught him that distance can muffle trouble, but never heals it. The plane touched down. Nathan skipped the VIP lounge, tossed luggage in a waiting SUV, and texted his sister. Landed. Where are you? Penthouse gym. Mom thinks I'm practicing my walk down the aisle. 20 minutes later, he strode into Naomi's private gym. She was on a treadmill, not running but pressing buttons hard enough to rattle. The moment she saw him, she jumped off and hugged him tight, sweat and tears mixing. Naomi, voice shaking, you actually came. Nathan, soft, your SOS sounded nuclear. What's going on? She led him to the balcony. Lagos glowed under a purple dusk, horns blaring far below. Naomi, they're forcing me to marry Austin, and he's worse than gossip says. Controlling. Temper like cracked glass. Nathan, did he hurt you? She hesitated, thinking of the wrist grab. Naomi, not with fists. With power. Nathan's eyes hardened. Time to meet Mr. Conglomerate. Nathan versus Austin. The next afternoon, Nathan arrived at Jackson Holdings Tower, a 60-floor statement of steel ego. The receptionist went pale when he said, Tell Austin I'm here on family business. A private lift whooshed him to a top-floor office where walls were more aquarium than concrete, giving a dizzying view of the Atlantic. Austin Jackson sat behind a mahogany desk, phone to ear, feet on polished wood. He finished the call with a lazy grin. Austin, rising, hand extended, Nathan Benjamin, the prodigal brother, ready to host my bachelor party. Nathan didn't take the hand. I'm here for Naomi. Austin leaned back, amused. Relax. Your sister's lucky. Marrying me puts her name in history. Nathan's smile was thin. I'd rather she write her own history. Austin's eyes chilled. Sounds heroic. Also irrelevant. Our parents have signed agreements. Hashtags of approval, sponsorship deals, venue deposits. This train left the station. Nathan stepped closer. My sister isn't livestock. If she says no, no contract stands. Austin clicked his tongue. Very Western of you. But here, family means business. Tell Naomi to dress well and leave feminism at the door. Nathan's fists tightened, but he breathed out slowly. Last warning, treat her as partner, not property. He turned to leave. Austin's laugh followed him like cheap perfume. In the hallway, Nathan texted Naomi. He's worse in person, but we'll fix this. The uncomfortable family meeting. That evening, the Benjamins gathered in Father's library. Floor-to-ceiling leather-bound deals, chandelier light soft as polite lies. Mr. Benjamin poured cognac. Mrs. Benjamin held a guest list binder. Nathan placed a leather folder on the table. Evidence, he announced. He slid out printouts, gossip blog screenshots, ex-employee statements, blurry phone footage of Austin shouting at a chauffeur, throwing a glass at a board dinner. Nathan, tabloids paint him as golden. Scroll further, and you'll find abuse lawsuits hushed with cash. Mrs. Benjamin adjusted her pearls. Blogs exaggerate. Everyone threatens staff in stressful moments. Nathan, Mom, come on. He tossed a phone at a waitress. Mr. Benjamin waved a hand. Nathaniel, empires need tough heirs. Investors respect fear. Nathan leaned in. They also respect sanity. If Austin blows up on Naomi in public, your share price will sink faster than eco-traffic in rain. Mr. Benjamin's brow tightened. Are you threatening your own family? Nathan, I'm protecting it. Protecting her. He gestured to Naomi, who was silent on a sofa, twisting her ring finger as if rehearsing escape. Mrs. Benjamin sighed. Sweetheart, Austin's edges will soften once you bear children. Naomi's voice emerged, low but steady. Mom, I'm not a whetstone. Her father stood. Enough theatrics. Wedding plans are in motion. We cannot back out without scandal. Nathan closed the folder. Scandal is a small price for Naomi's safety. He glanced at his sister. But I need you to speak, not me. Naomi inhaled. The room fell pin-drop still. Dad, you taught me integrity. If you force me, we trade that for a stock boost. I can't be sold. Her words hovered like smoke. Mrs. Benjamin's eyes watered, but duty chained her tongue. Mr. Benjamin straightened his cufflinks. We'll continue in the morning. Exit signals were clear. Outside the library, Naomi slumped against the wall. Nathan placed a hand on her shoulder. They heard the crack. Next, we break the whole wall. The last night of freedom. 2 nights before the wedding, Tara kidnapped Naomi for a low-key bachelorette party. Low-key, in Tara's dictionary, meant renting a beachfront villa in Lekki, DJs spinning amapiano, and neon signage that read in O ring, in O cage. Fairy lights tangled with palm trees. Friends in satin robes lounged on beanbags, sipping mocktails. Yet Naomi stood apart on the deck, watching waves slap sand, each crash a reminder of approaching vows. Tara marched over wearing a sash, maid of honor and chief troublemaker. She thrust a flaming pineapple drink into Naomi's hand. Sip courage. Naomi took a polite swallow. Tastes like fire and secrets. Exactly. Now, we have games. Truth or tequila, burn the X karaoke, and a piñata shaped like a billionaire groom. Naomi laughed for the first time in days. You're wild. You'll thank my wildness when you're 80 and free. Music thumped. Friends circled for truth or tequila. Naomi sat cross-legged, sand cool under her silk kimono. Friend number 1, grinning, bride-to-be, truth. What scares you most about marriage? Naomi toyed with her bracelet. Sleeping beside someone who thinks my dreams are distractions. The circle went quiet. Tara broke the tension. Next, later, under softer music, Tara and Naomi walked along the tide line. Tara, gently, you can still call it off. Naomi stared at moonlight shaking on water. They'll lose millions. Dad will feel betrayed. Tara squeezed her arm. What about betraying yourself? Listen, girl, you're not marrying a man. You're investing in trauma. Naomi exhaled, tears blending with salt air. I don't know if I'm brave enough. A sudden cheer erupted behind them. Guests smashing the Austin piñata. Candy and tiny fake gold bars spilled everywhere. Tara pointed. That's your future if you stay. Sweet bits, fancy glitter, but empty inside. Naomi watched the broken cardboard groom collapse in the sand. Something inside her clicked, the same quiet rebellion Nathan believed in. They returned to the party. A karaoke mic appeared. Tara shoved it at Naomi. Your anthem, Queen. Naomi cleared her throat and sang Whitney Houston's Greatest Love of All. Her voice quavered at first, then rose strong. By the final chorus, everyone sang with her, voices weaving a promise none fully understood, but all felt. No matter what they take from me, they can't take away my dignity. Naomi ended on a high note. Tears streamed down several cheeks, including her own. The DJ cut the track, and the beach fell silent except for waves. Tara lifted Naomi's hand like a referee crowning a champion. To freedom, the crowd roared. Fireworks cracked overhead, tiny, illegal, perfect. Naomi looked up at glittering sparks and whispered, maybe the biggest slap isn't with a hand but with a no. Tara grinned. Then practice your swing, babe. Wedding's in 48 hours. Late night phone call. Back in her bedroom, Naomi found 24 missed calls from her mother and a curt text from Austin. Bachelorettes should be dignified. Remember your place. She deleted the message and dialed Nathan. Naomi, quiet. I'm ready to fight. Nathan, on speaker from his flat, pacing, then we fight smart. We need proof Dad can't bury. Something to shake both families awake. Naomi glanced at her open closet. Rows of designer dresses, including the $50,000 wedding gown in a sealed garment bag. An idea sparked. Equal parts fear and sparkler bright. Naomi, meet me tomorrow morning. And bring a camera. Nathan paused. Sis, what are you planning? Naomi's reflection in the window looked determined, almost fierce. The dynasty wants a show. I'll give them one they can't edit. She hung up, heart racing. Outside, the sea kept rolling unstoppable, rewriting the shore grain by grain. The grand wedding. Royal Orchid Banquet Hall glittered like a crystal hive. Golden chandeliers rained light onto 2,000 white orchids, a glazed marble aisle, and rows of velvet chairs reserved for influencers, senators, CEOs, and the social media elite. Outside, a drone buzzed, streaming the ceremony to 500,000 curious viewers. At the back doors, Naomi stood on her father's arm, heart pounding against a corseted gown stitched with 10,000 seed pearls. Violins whispered the bridal march. Mrs. Benjamin, fixing Naomi's veil, low, deep breaths, darling. Smile for the cameras. Naomi managed a nod. Ahead, Austin waited beneath an arch of roses the color of old money. His grin was flawless, but his eyes held the sharpness of a drawn sword. Step. Cameras flashed. Step. Every phone lifted like a tiny lighthouse. Naomi felt each stairway on her shoulders, yet one thought kept burning. After today, I am never silent again. She reached the altar. The officiating bishop welcomed two mighty houses, joined before God and the world. The crowd hummed approval. Hashtags were already blooming online. Vow exchange. Silver trays carried the rings. Hers, a diamond so large it felt absurd. His, a thick platinum band. Naomi's palms sweated. The bishop invited vows. Austin, steady, over the mic. I, Austin Jackson, pledge to lead our future and to teach you how a true empire is run. A few guests chuckled politely. Naomi's turn. She lifted the ring. Her fingers shook, nerves and doubt wrestling inside. The diamond slipped, pinged off the marble, and rolled toward the first row. Gasps rippled. Austin's smile froze to ice. He leaned in the microphone, voice dripping disdain. Can't even hold a ring? How do you plan to hold a home? The hall rustled, whispers, raised brows, a senator's wife covering her mouth. Phone zoomed closer, hungry. Naomi's cheeks burned, but anger surged higher. She retrieved the ring, met Austin's stare. Into her own mic she said, calm but clear, "Don't talk about my family like that." A hush fell so thick even a violin stalled. Austin's jaw twitched. "Watch your tone, Naomi." Naomi squared her shoulders. "Watch your respect." The audience sensed voltage, screens tilted forward. Austin's hand shot out, crack. His palm struck Naomi's cheek, a sound so sharp the microphone squealed. The bride staggered, veil swaying, pearl earrings snapping loose. A collective scream rose. Several guests leapt to their feet. Others froze, horrified but filming. The bishop stepped back, rosary clutched in shock. Naomi steadied herself, one hand on her stinging face. Her eyes shimmered, not with fear, but with fierce clarity, as if the slap had switched on a hidden light. Somewhere, livestream comments erupted. Did he just hit her? Hashtag run Naomi run. The chair heard around the world. Front row, Nathan Benjamin rose like a triggered storm. In 2 strides, he reached an empty gilt chair, gripped it by the backrest, and before any usher could intervene, swung. Crack! Metal met Austin's cheekbone. The groom collapsed, nose bleeding, crown cufflinks skittering across the floor. Gasps turned to shrieks, crystal centerpieces toppled. Nathan, voice roaring across the hall, "Touch my sister again, and you'll eat concrete." Security rushed, but Tara was faster. She ripped her lush bouquet apart, launching roses and thorns at Austin's parents, who tried to drag their son to his feet. Tara, shouting, "Money can't buy manners." Rose petals scattered like red confetti under bright stage lights. Influencers dove for better angles. One screamed, "This is history," while gripping a ring light. Austin, dazed, pressed a monogrammed handkerchief to his bloody nose. Through the chaos he hissed, "This family is finished." Naomi didn't flinch. She turned to the guests, veil slipping from her hair, cheeks still bright red. Phones formed a forest around her. Naomi, steady, through the nearest mic, "I was taught that marriage is honor. Today, honor left this altar, and so do I." She slipped off her jeweled engagement ring, let it hit the marble with a tiny ding, then faced her parents. Mr. Benjamin's mouth opened, words failing. Tears glittered in Mrs. Benjamin's eyes. Nathan dropped the bent chair, offered Naomi his arm. "Shall we?" She nodded. They walked the length of the aisle, now a runway of shattered glass, fallen orchids, and blinking cameras. Tara hurried behind, holding the torn bouquet like a battle flag. Near the doors, Naomi paused, looked back once. Austin's designer white suit was streaked with his own blood. His parents argued with security. Social media reporters narrated every second. A single tear slid down Naomi's unbruised cheek, but it was not sorrow. It was relief, clean, bright, unstoppable. She whispered, just loud enough for Nathan and Tara to hear, "Freedom never felt so light." Outside, daylight exploded with camera flashes and frantic reporters, but Naomi kept walking. Nathan raised a shielding hand. Tara barked, "Make way." Somewhere overhead, the drone followed, live feed soaring. Within minutes, the hashtags trended worldwide. Hashtag the slap that broke a dynasty. Hashtag Naomi walks free. Hashtag chair justice. And inside every phone, laptop, and news screen, Naomi's calm exit played on loop. Proof that a single moment of courage can strike louder and travel farther than any ring or slap. The moment Naomi crossed the banquet hall threshold, the marble felt like ice against her bare soles, but the chill steadied her. Behind, Royal Orchid's golden doors remained flung open, spilling chaotic voices and camera flashes into the humid Lagos night. Pearls dangled from her torn veil, tapping her back like farewell raindrops. Each step left a faint print of rose-petal dust on the courtyard's pale stone, a bride's strange breadcrumb trail to freedom. Mr. Benjamin hurried after her, breathless, polished shoes slipping on the smooth path. Mrs. Benjamin followed, clutching skirts no maid could carry now. Mrs. Benjamin, voice cracking, "Naomi, wait. We were wrong. Forgive us, please." Naomi slowed, but didn't turn. The parking lot floodlights cast long shadows. Hers straight, theirs wavering. Mr. Benjamin, "Daughter, I let ambition blind me. I forgot the child who once sold handmade bead watches for fun, not profit." Naomi inhaled, tasting the faint scent of sea salt drifting from the lagoon beyond the gates. She faced them, eyes red but fierce. "Naomi, soft, tired. I'm not angry anymore, but I will never pretend again." Her mother's tears spilled. "Can we still be part of your life?" Naomi studied them. In the hall they had worn pride like armor. Outside they looked simply human, aging, frightened, ashamed. She nodded. "Yes, but as family, not owners." Mr. Benjamin's shoulders sagged, equal parts relief and regret. He offered his suit jacket. "For your feet." Naomi smiled faintly. Let them touch ground for once. She lifted the gown's heavy hem, stepped onward, and the parents, humbled, fell in line behind their daughter instead of ahead. A phone sets the world on fire. Back at the penthouse, Naomi sank onto her couch. The city's skyline glittered, but every device around her sparkled louder. Tara was already inside, phone held high. "Tara, eyes wide, girl, the internet is having twins." She flipped the screen. Hashtag spiraled in neon text. Hashtag Naomi did right, 1.3 million tweets. Hashtag the slap that freed her, 980K posts. Hashtag Austin got Benjamin, trending in 5 countries. Clips from multiple angles looped. Austin's slap, Nathan's chair, Naomi's ring drop. Reaction videos popped like popcorn. Shock, cheers, think pieces titled Modern Dowries and Misogyny. Naomi watched in silence, hand gently touching the faint welt on her cheek. "Tara, look at this TikTok remix. Someone synced the slap to a drumbeat." Naomi chuckled and winced. The internet heals with humor. She scrolled, seeing strangers defend her in languages she didn't know, celebrities praising her courage, activists quoting her vows. Just then Nathan's face filled a live stream feed. He sat in their late grandfather's study, shelves of dusty law books behind him. Nathan, voice steady, eyes raw. "Good evening, everyone. I reacted as a brother, not a hero. But let me be clear. Money is replaceable. My sister's peace is not. No bride, no daughter, no woman should be bartered for profit. Let this be a lesson to every family chasing headlines over happiness. Comments poured like rain. Preach. Where's his TED Talk? Brother of the decade. Naomi pressed a palm to her heart. Tara hugged her from the side. Naomi, whisper, I thought I walked alone. Tara, you marched, and the world fell in line. Quiet aftershocks. The next week unspooled like a fever dream. Jackson Holdings stock dipped 8% after advertisers canceled deals, citing values misalignment. Talk show hosts replayed the slap daily. Austin issued a 3-paragraph apology that blamed stress and promised therapy. It satisfied no one. Photos of his bandaged nose became memes. When patriarchy meets plywood. Mr. and Mrs. Benjamin made a televised apology too, this time seated beside Naomi, not in front of her. Mrs. Benjamin, tear-streaked. We valued legacy over love and nearly lost both. We pledged to champion every child's right to choose. Their sincerity surprised viewers. Forgiveness trended alongside outrage. At dawn each day, Naomi jogged barefoot along Karamo Beach, the sand course real, honest. She let the waves wash over her dress's last stubborn bead until it vanished in the tide. One morning, she encountered an old fisherman untangling nets. He squinted at her famous face, then shrugged. Ocean doesn't care for titles, oh. Everyone is fish here. She laughed, thanked him. Simple wisdom felt richer than any boardroom speech. The right to choose initiative. 1 month later, Lagos City Hall's atrium bustled with reporters under banners reading the right to choose. Ivory pillars were draped in violet, the color of freedom in some Nigerian folklore. A small gospel choir hummed Stand By Me. Naomi stood at the podium, no veil, no jewels save a single amethyst pendant. To her left sat Tara, board member and PR head. To her right, Mr. and Mrs. Benjamin, humble donors. Front row contained women's rights advocates, social work interns, market women in bright encre prints. She glanced at her notes, then folded them away. Naomi, voice resonant, warm. A month ago, many tried to sell me like stock. I chose to walk away like royalty. But royalty means service, not crowns. Today we launched the right to choose initiative. Legal aid, counseling, and emergency grants for anyone pressured into marriages that choke their dreams. Applause rolled like thunder. Naomi continued. My story went viral because violence is dramatic, but the quieter violence of forced choice happens daily, in villages, in mansions, and hearts. May this fun slice every chain, silent or loud. She finished. Cameras flashed, but the applause this time felt rounder, purpose-shaped. Afterward, a journalist asked, Are you afraid Austin may sue for defamation? Naomi smiled gently. Truth is a full-length mirror. Only the guilty fear it. Seed planting conversations. In breakout rooms, Naomi spoke with survivors. Rashida, engaged at 16, escaped at 20. Rashida showed a palm tattoo that covered burn scars. Naomi squeezed her hand. Your scars aren't shame, they're stamps of survival. Gok, a soft-spoken tailor, revealed he too had been coerced. Men face silent pressure to sustain family deals. Naomi nodded. Coercion wears many dresses. Our doors are open to all. By dusk, commitments totaled 900 million Nigerian nairas. Nathan texted 3 words, proud of you. Coffee, sea, and a gentle miracle. 2 months after the canceled wedding, Naomi sat at a rustic beach cafe in a lash, palm frond roof, mismatched wooden chairs, a view of endless blue. She wore linen pants, feet buried in cool sand, laptop open to grant applications. The waitress, a bright-eyed teenager, placed a coconut milk latte. You're the lady from the Freedom Foundation, right? Naomi nodded shy. The girl beamed. My aunt called off her forced marriage because of your hotline. Thank you. She hurried away before Naomi could speak. Tears pricked Naomi's eyes again, good tears like morning dew. Her phone buzzed. A WhatsApp message from A.O. Uma, the quiet civil engineering major she'd met during a Unilag debate years back. He had once passed her a note. Your ideas are louder than your perfume. She'd smiled. then lost touch after studying abroad. Ao's message. Saw what you did. Took courage mightier than concrete. Would love to take you out. For who you are, not what you're worth. Naomi's cheeks warmed, not from sun. She typed, coffee tastes better by the sea. Hit send. The ocean breeze lifted stray curls across her forehead. She closed her laptop, letting Grant forms wait. Children nearby squealed as waves chased their ankles. Vendors sold roasted corn. A kite snapped bright against the sky, fragile yet soaring. Naomi breathed deep, tasting salt and possibility. A tiny crab scuttled by, leaving a zigzag signature in wet sand. Proof small steps could still trace artistry. A voiceover, calm and assured, seemed to rise from the surf, her own inner narrator finally at peace. They try to bind me in diamonds. I found freedom in dust. She glanced up. The horizon shimmered gold where sun kissed water. Somewhere beyond, a respectful man was likely grinning at his phone, booking a ferry. Naomi Benjamin, barefoot bride, reluctant symbol, now architect of choice, smiled back at the sea, lifted her latte, and toasted the quiet revolution still unfolding inside every person who had witnessed her walk away. Fade out on rolling waves, a distant gull's call, and the echo of millions whispering, choose.